Hey now! What is up, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka Review King MB, and I already reviewed the first two parts of this movie. This is the third and final part, so I figured I might as well, right? Although, after watching it, I'm not so sure I should have. Fuck! 580 points away. What the fuck? I had it. It was that one guy who hit me. Ain't that about a bitch? This is Crisis on Infinite Earths, Part 3, like I said. Of course, it's a 2024 film. They all have come out in the same year. And in theory, in concept, I liked this idea. At least at first, I thought, oh, this is cool. This is one big, large, mega event. Something directly from the comics that was a big deal at the time when it happened. So instead of trying to maybe rush all of this in or having to take stuff out to fit into one film or even two films, they decided to make three. And at first I thought that was great because, like I said, you don't have to leave anything out. You could sort of tell the story the way it was intended to be told. But something was off for me. Something did not click for me while watching this third part. I mean, part one, if you go back and watch my review for part one, I quite enjoyed part one. I was very into how they were introducing this concept. I was very into how they were using different variants of each characters, like the various Batmans and Supermans and whatnot. But I will admit that just in general, the whole multiverse thing, it's so odd how we happen to be at a time where every franchise is seemingly doing multiverse stuff. DC, Marvel, and even other movies have gotten in on the multiverse thing just within the last 3 or 4 years. And so I am multiverse played out. I am. I'm over it. I'm kind of sick of it. I'm ready to move on to telling some different types of stories here. And so by the time you got to part two, that's where I sort of was becoming weary of this. Sort of going like, okay, I don't know if I love the direction. I don't know if I love how this is all playing out. And now that we're at part three, maybe I should have binged the first two parts as well, because we get jumped into this, thrown into this. And dinosaurs are attacking one of the Earths. Of course, as we left off from the cliffhanger previously, various different Earths is being destroyed by the main villain. And I guess I'm supposed to have an emotional attachment. I'm supposed to have an emotional investment in each and every single one of these Earths, I guess. At least that's what it feels like the film is telling me to feel. But I don't feel anything. It just sort of feels like it's noise. I'd love to pretend that I care. I'd love to pretend like this is the greatest thing of all time. And I know that when you talk about the comics, a lot of this stuff is direct from the comics, and so that means I'm automatically supposed to like it. I'm not sure if it 100% works in the comics either, you know? And with this, they try to show all these various different universes, and a lot of universes that DC fans would be familiar with, would appreciate in some sense. I mean, I saw Teen Titans, although the way how they got dogged out, I don't know if Teen Titan fans loved what they got there. You get Jensen Ackles once again as Batman. I talked about him previously. I just wanted to mention him again because he's one of my favorite things about this entire film as far as the voice acting goes. You get a little sequence where he gets gassed by Scarecrow's fear gas, and then that's how he gets recruited to the Watchtower and has to sort of be a part of everything. John Constantine plays a big role in this film, and of course he was teased previous, but now you see he's the guy. He's the one that essentially maybe started this whole thing in motion, and he feels a responsibility to have to try to end it. It was cool to see that Lex Luthor as a character still ain't shit. He still is selfish. He still is all out for himself. And even if he feels like he's doing the right thing for the greater good, fuck that dude. The Anti-Monitor, he's the one, the big giant armored villain that's going around and destroying planets, and I should have felt something, right? I should have looked at him and said, holy shit, he's like Galactus, or he's like any other world-ending, world-eating villain that you should feel some gravitas to. But maybe it's because it's not like this has been a series where they've built up to this or teased this. It's just sort of been introduced in this one movie, and I didn't feel anything. It's a character that doesn't talk and doesn't have an emotion. He's just something that the heroes have to punch and find a way to punch harder. Supergirl, I like the idea on paper that Supergirl is the answer, is the key, or at least she is capable of potentially killing this Anti-Monitor on her own. I like that, but again, we don't spend a whole lot of time with this Supergirl. It's not like we get a whole lot of good explanation for why she's so much stronger maybe than Superman. I know they recreate an iconic moment between Supergirl and Superman in this movie that I have seen that image plenty of times, especially from the comic. But once again, none of this really hit for me. And this is me. Maybe somebody else watched this and feels completely opposite. Maybe somebody else watched this and said, they did the comic justice. Maybe people are a big fan of the comic book, and that's cool, that's fine, that's all well and good. I just didn't really have any attachment to it. And I also feel like for many years, DC Animation, their movies have, for good reason, had the reputation of always killing it, always delivering, always putting out bangers, always putting out things that we would want to try to promote, of like, hey guys, watch this DC animated film because it's great. And I don't feel like I've gotten that over the last few years. Maybe it's because they've been hovering around the New 52 stuff, or just maybe because I'm at a place where it's not appealing to me really as much as it used to. There is one moment that I guess got me emotional a little bit, where you see what looks like the universe of Batman the Animated Series, and we got the voice of Kevin Conroy for indeed the very last time. I believe this is his last thing. I feel like people have said, oh, this is the last thing that Kevin Conroy has done the voice of Batman for, the Suicide Squad game or that cartoon over there. No, supposedly this is, in fact, the last Kevin Conroy performance, and the way how that goes out was touching and was fitting and was nice, but it also made me depressed that, like, wait, this is supposed to be the fate of the animated series? Possibly my favorite interpretation of Batman. See, that's where I think DC fucked up. They wanted to pay respect and reference to all of these things in DC stuff over the years, and I don't think they realized that fans of those particular things might not be happy with how those things get treated. Either way, though, the movie's fine. It's at the end of the day, it's a decent time waster. I can't say that I'm angry that I watched it or that I'm sitting here going, God damn it, they fucked it up. I just don't feel like it's as epic as it could have been. So guys, let me know in the comments below if you saw Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 3 or all 3 parts. What did you think of it? Did you think it came together well? Do you think as one complete story it works for you or not? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later.